So did Trump save the market today from a heavy decline after Jerome Powell's comments today? Let's get into it. It is Wednesday, May 7, 2025. This is Carnivore Trades. Again, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up. It helps out the channel a lot. I don't want to beg here, but this is really the only method that YouTube really looks at for pushing these out here. And I like doing these videos for you guys. Just one click, one button, keeps me happy, keeps the algorithm happy. Again, if you guys want to let me know, I'll do a giveaway or something like that. I'll do more of those if you guys want. If we can just hit 200 likes on each video. So let me know what we got to do here to get there, because the algorithm is definitely always changing and it's very challenging. Anyways, let's get into it here. Markets today pretty much sideways for the most part. Did Trump save? He had some chip comments late in the day. I think they were rescind global chip curbs amid AI restrictions. So that did come out late in the day. The market really wasn't in danger of crashing though at any point. We talked about that. We talked about that this morning. There's ES. We can take a look at SPX. I mentioned that this morning in the short video. That we're possibly the market had a pretty good dispersion trade on. And usually what that's going to entail is volatility down and usually like a buoyant stock market. And we looked at the 5,700 handle earlier, and I can show you tomorrow's chain here too. Again, this is what I look at every day here, and you have this type of view here available in the trading room only. But you can see 5650 for tomorrow. It's got a little bit of interest, a little bit of a pin right here around 5630. That's been a really sticky area, and that's been a level that we've been pinned at for quite a while. And then of course 5600. We have some risk down below around 55 if we were to drop down in the overnight over for whatever reason here. We can see that in our proprietary dealer stuff here, but we still have the 5700. It doesn't look like a lot here, but it can catch up fast, especially if we gap up for whatever reason. But the market right now, we talked about that this morning. There was definitely some calls up there at 5,700, and I said specifically, if we hold 5,600 before the Fed meeting, or around we could have spiked through it really quickly, which we kind of did. But bottom line is we didn't want to damage that really, and we did. So we held up by the end of the day, but we weren't going to get to 5,700 because we kind of wanted this structure to stay positive, right? 56.25 to 30, like we just mentioned, that level. Look at how sticky this is right here. So if we were up into this area at the Fed meeting, it would have been a lot easier for us to pump through that, and that's the reason why we didn't get there, if you ask me. That said, it was a really good day for day trading. A lot of trades out there today. We traded through the FOMC pretty nicely. We had a long overnight. It was kind of a re-add. I believe we took a small gain on it. Then we ended up stopping out on the runner. Took a gain here again. Got stopped out again on the way down. Got in again. Got out at the highs here, and still holding a little bit into the overnight. And was able to sell some volatility this morning too for a nice gain as well as a little bit on oil. Before that did dip, although I do still have some on that. I do like oil, how it is positioned here. In fact, I'll show you one thing as well. I know we're kind of getting into this video slow here today, but just a lot to cover here. But you can see it's like a story in two parts. You got some guy on CNBC talking about oil is going to drop to 40. And you can see the COTs here. Banks very long, retail and hedge funds piled in short here, basically at a 5-year low. So I still think oil here is interesting. It needs a geopolitical catalyst, or at least some sort of catalyst, but it's interesting in this area. Anyways, markets here, are we going to break out? We'll see. I mean, we've definitely gone up quite a bit here. I still think we need to digest a lot of this. Again, I'm still in the camp, and we talked about this Sunday, that we're not going to go much past 5,800, even if we were to really pump here. So, I mean, there's the possibility of it. We are in a supportive environment right now. That's part of the reason why we didn't go down today, even though Powell was super hawkish at first. I mean, in fact, he was hawkish the whole time. Talked about how he can't do his job. He hates Trump. He didn't actually say that, but he does. And the market came down because he was worried about tariffs not allowing him to effectively move policy into that sort of thing. But again, a lot of pre-OPEX flows here are keeping us buoyant, and I don't think we're going to decline too much until then. It's going to be hard for that to happen. Is it possible? Of course, anything is possible, but it's going to be hard for that to happen. And that's why we're just kind of neutral at the moment, just kind of, holding some hedges here in a lot of cash, and just kind of keeping the positions small. It's too early to really go heavy buying here. You need more of a mature pattern right here at this area, right? It took you, almost like 2.5 weeks to break down from this area. So we've only been in this area for like 1 week. So we're going to need a little bit more time if we're going to try and break through that. But that said, if we did get some sort of catalyst that rocketed us up, gapped us up towards 58, it's possible we could get there. It's just not likely going to last. So that would be kind of my analysis here for the next week or so. But if we firm up and we just stay inside of this area, then we can build a base and go through that. But that's going to take another week or so. So anyway, overall, again, I'm still more on the neutral side here, just day trading kind of for the most part here, and only going longs on like quality names that I think are really beaten down, like UPS, which you guys know I do have some. And I still maintain this level as a monster here. I really like that spot. But outside of that, as far as tech names and anything else, I'm kind of just staying away for the moment, although, there's always possibility of some more upside here. The best chance for bears here to do damage will be in a week and a half, or really even like starting next Wednesday. If they can, break 5,500, then we could see lower prices. But until then, I think we're going to be kind of stuck in this range. So I don't really see us getting too much past 57. Yeah, we could go to 58. It's possible. That is there for next Friday. But right now, it's just a little tougher. And there definitely was still a dispersion trade on. You can see we had the news about Apple and Google today. Google search engine volume really dropping off. That's not a surprise. Honestly, Google search is not very good anymore compared to AI. And this is a big dump for Google here. 7.25. And why I say dispersion was definitely on. I mean, look at what happened to Apple. Look what happened to Google intraday. The market was fine up until Powell started going on. Actually, Trump was chirping again, and Bessent was on all day long. So that was just obnoxious of them to even have these press conferences on the FOMC day. They should just go radio silent. It's just, the tactfulness is not there right now. But nonetheless, you saw the Russell here actually basically make a new high of the day around 130, and that's with tech getting hit. So that is a sign of dispersion. It tells us the market's going to be supported. That's why we got a low kind of where we did, at least in my opinion. So anyway, again, I wish I had more alpha here, but we're kind of just sitting in this range. There is a little bit of a pattern I'm watching here on ES, and by the way, little head and shoulders picked through it, just kind of wicked through it, and then no follow through. That's why I don't really like those patterns too many. It's just kind of a retail darling pattern, honestly. But yeah, nice little just channel here, and yeah, I suppose we could break through it. I just don't see too much gas past this area. Daily chart is losing a little bit of momentum though, at least in the short term off of this big move. But yeah, anyway, QQQ again, 490 still a big level, and then 500 obviously that's the big gamma wall. IWM here up 1/3%. That held up okay. Diamond here, held up, and it's holding the 50 MA. By the way, that's another thing too. 50 MA huge for SPX here. We're staying above that. That's a positive. SMH obviously got a bid in the afternoon, and I noticed this morning. I even just tweeted out just SMH, right? That's what I tweeted this morning, and making a new weekly high, right? A new high. Well, sorry, new high over the last. Since yesterday, rather, usually is a good sign. SMH leading is a good sign, right? And obviously somebody knew about this coming. There's leaks everywhere here. There's NVDA up 3.1%. So new local highs finally breaking out of this inside bar pattern. I believe we got ARM here after hours. Okay, so ARM actually dropping a little bit. So that's a shame for anybody who bought ARM in the close. So it's not horribly down, but it is down a little bit. AMD flat there, but that is it got a little bit of a bid. So chips holding up. My favorite cloud is still acting well. Again, big broadening pattern here, And this weekly chart is really strong. So again, I still like, cloud, cybersecurity, better than chips, as you guys know anyway. But transports here held up today. So they're up, they're up all day long, never went red. So they're hanging in there. Still got to get through, these pivots and try to test 14.5. But it did hang in there. Anyway, let's get over to rates, because this is important here. And Bitcoin held up for the most part today too. But yeah, 2-year, this is what really matters right now. Powell can say this, that, the other thing about tariffs. I can't do my job. It's so hard. It doesn't matter. If this goes down, he'll have to do his job. My guess is it probably is in, next month. If this goes any lower, you really don't have much of an excuse anymore. Because, we're looking at, you go back to 360, you're at 80 basis points of wiggle room. And, you can see here, we talked about this being a concern, right? If we got through this yellow line, that would be a big negative, right? But we tested it 4 times and it's rejected, right? We went down to double bottom, we got a bounce. That's all the bounce we've got. So this is getting weaker, which means they're probably gonna have to cut soon. They have plenty of space here. There's really no reason for them not to. And if they don't cut in June, then it's really political, and that might actually piss the market off. But I don't think that that's going to happen. They're not. The Fed will just follow this. And right now it was flat today, but the initial reaction, two-year note got a bid, and it held up all right. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, yields on the long end even coming down. That said, looking at longer term picture, this is strong. Like, I wouldn't bet against this right now. That's a really strong weekly chart on the 30s. Short term, I think TLT maybe has a chance to get back to 90 again, but bigger picture, it's quite strong here. XHB flat to positive. Not going to make too much out of that. Housing holding up here. VNQ still got a lot of overhead resistance there. XLF continues to be strong here, and again, that favors the bulls here. KRU was strong most of the day. It did come back in by the end, just like everything did. And then broker dealers held up well. Now starting to put in another inside bar here. Broker dealers are just so strong right now. Oil we talked about, backed off of our level. It did get to my first target though. So we hit that target and now just kind of in this wavy pattern here. But still got to clear this 60 handle, and then you could talk about a squeeze. But until then, it's still under a little bit of pressure. XLE, I got another green day. Sellers losing some momentum here. XOP, this is getting interesting. And then we got OIH there as well. Oil is so hated. Energy is so hated right now. And that's the only reason I like it. Well, not the only reason, but it's a big reason. NG up 16 cents. So that's trying for another higher low here. And, or at least an equal low. Again, watch this big, if this can hold this base here on the weekly, it might be able to go higher in time. But so far, nothing really doing there. A little inside bar action right now. Dollar index was up nicely today. Still not the greatest. However, dollar yen did gain quite a bit. There's a lot of hoopla about the Asian currencies, Taiwanese dollar. But dollar yen caught a bid today. So usually is risk on. We'll see if that can continue. For now, gold down too. Again, a little risk on, but trend is still up. This is still very strong. Silver took a hit. Yeah, engulfing candle there. So careful with silver. Platinum backing off. That pattern's getting a little bit better though. That's actually starting to firm up nicely. And like its cousin palladium, it kind of has this. Let me just go back farther. I haven't really looked. I want to see. You could even make a case this is just tightening up a lot. Like even in the short term, like definitely that can hold up here a couple more days. That might be all the break out of that. And then palladium kind of already has. So maybe another day or two that can try to work towards 1050, maybe 1075. Copper got hammered all day. So good outside move down. And I just don't see anything good for it or bad, really. I wouldn't even mess with it right now. It's way too erratic. Bitcoin held up though, kind of a flat day, but this is a good pattern here. I like how you reestablish trend. There's our lines back. I like how you're reestablishing trend. Like you went up into this pivot, and instead of rejecting, right, you're just consolidating, and you're reestablishing above all the moving averages, and you're doing so while the 20 is catching up, right? While the 50 is starting to catch up, right? You keep doing this, eventually you're going to get everybody's favorite pattern, which is a golden cross, right? You know, the fabled golden cross that's never wrong. But you know, I'm only saying that because remember the death cross, right? If you just bought here, you're anyway. Nothing. Enough of that. So I don't want to bore you with the sermon, but yeah, it's, you know, it's just funny how that works out every time. But yeah, this is actually acting well. Is basically what I'm saying. It looks fine. And could be setting up another base for a big pump. So anyway, spiders here held up okay. SPX, you know, managed to carve out a gain. Let's take a look at the futures here. And you know, we're holding up all right. But this area here, this I mean 560, like 562 SPY, 56.30, 25 to 30. SPX has been an absolute stick for like the last 2 days. If we can unpin from that, we can start to try and work back towards, I mean, you got 56.50. This was actually I think that was a fake print, wasn't it? No, this is a fake print. That was real. So we can work back towards 56.50, which fills the gap, which we already did. But then, you know, up towards 57. But right now, I just see this as digestion here. I'm not saying we can't like have another exhaustion high up to 5,800, but I think it's going to be a little hard right now. So anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.